Hi guys, it's Meridy here, and I am here today with the video for the Not Just for Boys Kit Club layout called Latte Love, and this is a coffee theme layout. And first I'm going to start out by showing you what is included in your kit. So first you're going to get a Gosh Garnet Inklings by Shimmer's Paint, which is a dry little paint jar, and you add water to activate it. I'll show you how in this video. And next you're gonna get a little jar, a tiny little jar of hearts. And they're white, light pink, and brown little hearts. Next you're going to get a Simple Stories Color Vibe Foam Alpha sticker sheet in coral. And it has all the alphabet in coral, and there's tons. There's gonna be lots of this left for another layout. Same with these two things. There's all kinds of leftovers to this kit. And then you're going to get a Echo Park coffee element sticker sheet. That's a 12 by 12 sticker sheet about coffee. I'm gonna put all these embellishments off to the side while I go over the papers that are included. You're going to get an Echo Park coffee paper called Coffee Blend. And you're going to get another Echo Park coffee paper called 3x3 journaling cards. And you're gonna get one more Echo Park coffee sheet of paper called Cappuccino Cups. And then you're going to get one sheet of Salutations #2 double-sided designer solids paper in light blue and pink. And another sheet of Echo Park's designer solids in green and mint. And one sheet of 12 by 12 white cardstock. So the first thing that you're also going to get a sheet of instructions in your kit. It's a full color sheet of instructions, and on there it is going to show you the exact dimensions and cutting guides for cutting these papers. So that's the first thing that you're going to do when you start, and I am going to go off camera and cut all those down to the dimensions, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back and I have all my papers cut, but I wanted to show you this paper in particular because the cutting guides might be a little confusing. So the first thing that you're gonna do on this piece of paper is cut a 1-inch border. You're gonna gut the paper with a 1-inch border all around. Okay, I'm gonna put that off to the side. And then you're left with this square, which is 10 inches by 10 inches. The first thing you're going to wanna do is measure 8.5 inches up this side. So at 8.5 inches, you're gonna put a little dot right here on the paper. And then you're going to measure 8.5 inches over at the bottom and put a little dot. And then you're gonna cut from this 8.5 inch dot to this 8.5 inch dot. So you're gonna slice that corner off. Okay, then you're left with this shape. And the first thing that you're going to do is measure 2 3/4 inches over and cut a line straight down like this, 2 3/4 inches. And then you're going to trim off 1 1/4 inches off the bottom. Actually, yeah, 1.5 inches off the bottom. You're gonna trim 1.5 inches off the bottom. So you're gonna measure 8.5 inches down and trim that off. So that's how you get that funky cut right there. I just thought I'd show you that because it might be a little confusing just looking at it in the picture. Now that we have that done, we can start assembling. Let me move all these goodies out of the way here. So we're working on the left-hand side of the layout, and we're gonna start out with the background, which is a white sheet of paper. And then you've gutted two papers, this one that I just showed you how to gut, and then this other one. And what we're going to do is adhere them right on top of each other, just like this. And I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Okay, and then you're going to adhere this to your background of the white piece of paper that's the background of your layout. And you may need to trim down and clean up the edges. As you can see here, I got a little bit of this teal edge sticking out there and a little bit of this white. So I'm just going to trim down the edges to make everything nice and even. And then now that that is done, we can start on putting together our layout. And as you may know, instead of real photos, in my videos, I use paper to represent photos. So I'm gonna use 2 4x6 photos on this layout, on this side of the layout. And actually these are not left at 4x6. I trimmed 1/4 inch off 2 sides. So they're really 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. I just trimmed 1/4 inch off 2 sides, or just like 1/8 inch off all 4 sides. So those are the photos. And then I'm gonna grab this piece of cardstock. It is light blue on the back and like a coral color on the front. You can use either side you want to mat your pictures. I'm going to use the coral side to mat my pictures, and I'm just going to mat both pictures on this. And this is why we trimmed the photos down a little, because now they fit perfectly on this piece of paper and you don't have to try to fit them on here and twist them around. So they fit just perfectly when they're cropped down to 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, so we've got those 2 pictures matted. And then we have this piece that you cut before. We're going to use the back side. And we've got this piece of green paper, and we're going to cut it about 3 inches wide. I didn't put this in the cutting instructions on accident. And let's see, about 9 inches tall. 8.5 inches. 3 inches wide and 8.5 inches tall. And it's just going to be right there. Okay, so now that we've got the general layout of this page done, we're not going to adhere this down. Actually, we can adhere these things together. That would be kind of nice. So I'm going to start at the back. So this is just one big piece that I can move on and off of the page. I'll start at the back and adhere the back layers to each other. And then I'll adhere the photo to it. But I'm not adhering it to the actual paper. I'm just adhering all these layers together. And then we can easily, oops, I need to scooch this over just a little. And then we can easily move this up and down and on and off of the layout, because we're gonna do a little mixed media on the background. So you've got this not attached. And then you're gonna take your paint that came in this kit. It is called Gush Garnet, and it's this Inklings Shimmers paint. And you're gonna add water to it because the water activates it. So I'm gonna go put some water in here. You're just gonna want this to sit for a couple of minutes after you put water in it, so it can get malleable, and so you can use it. You could just kind of stir it and mix it up. You could see it's kind of mixing up. I might have put a little too much water in there. I'm gonna dump a little out there. Yeah, this is better. You don't want to like fill the jar up with water, because then it's just going to be really, really watery watercolor, not very pigmented. So gonna still let that sit for a couple more minutes before we use it. And another fun thing that we're gonna do after we do this watercolor is we're gonna actually use a coffee cup and make coffee stains on this layout, or faux coffee stains, I should say. And I'm really excited about that. So now that this is kind of ready to go, I'm gonna paint one little blob under here, one up here, and a little bit down here. So I'm gonna move this off to the side. And the more water you have, the more like not a lot of pigment it will have. The less water you have, the more pigmented the more darker the paint will look. I like to kind of have in the middle. I don't like too much water or too little water because I like it to be, you know, pretty close to the color that you see when it's dry. Okay, and then we got to put a little bit down here. I just use this to kind of eyeball where it's going to lay, so what's going to be showing. Okay, and I'm going to use this again to make some splatters, but I really want this to dry first before I splatter over it, because otherwise the splatters just kind of like blend in with the watercoloring. And I live in the desert and it's dry here, the weather, and so paint dries really quickly for me. I'm not gonna have to wait very long. So the next thing I'm gonna get ready is to make my paint, my little coffee stains. One way to do this is to use something like acrylic paint and mix it with a lot of water so it's very liquidy, and dip this in it and then move it onto your page. Or you can use a mist, and I'm gonna use my Nuvo Mica Mist. This is not included in the kit, but if you have a brown colored mist, it will work well. And I'm going to just spray a little on a plate. You gotta shake it up real well, the Mica Mist, because it has, all the pigment is at the bottom usually. I'm just gonna spray a little on a plate. And then I'm going to put my coffee cup in it just like this and put it on my page, and it makes the little coffee rings. And it's kind of twist and move at the same time. And there, I've got coffee rings. So I'll put this off to the side because we're going to do that again on the next page. But that's about all the coffee rings I really need on this page. And then this is pretty dry already, guys, because like I said, I'm in the desert. So I'm going to go ahead and add splatters right now. And to add splatters, you could just tap your brush that's wet with the paint on a pen or other tool, pencil, marker, and just kind of splatter it on your layout. And a lot of this is going to get covered up by our picture. Ooh, I don't want it way out here. A lot of this is going to get covered up by your picture, by all of this. It's just going to be a little bit sticking out. So you want to try to get the splatters nice and thick where you'll be able to see them. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I'm gonna set this off to the side to dry completely because the splatters take a little bit longer to dry because they're pretty thick. And we're gonna work on the other side because we're gonna do this exact same technique on the other half of the layout. So let me grab the supplies for the other half of the layout and we'll start working on that. So you can start doing that background. So here's my photo. And you're going to use the coffee beans as the background. And then you cut these two funky little pieces. That's where we're gonna mat the background on. So it's gonna go like this. So basically, I'm going to take adhesive. Whoa. And I probably will do one side at a time, actually. I'll put this off to the side. I'm just going to mat this. Just like that. And then I'm going to mat so now we've got a whole 12 by 12 sheet. And then this adheres down here, and I'm gonna go ahead and adhere it. Actually, we're not going to adhere this yet. I lied. We're gonna do some of the background first. Forgot about that. This is getting there's not quite enough water in here anymore. So I'm just adding a little bit of this water back into the jar that I had poured in the lid earlier. And then we're gonna do the same technique that we do over here. Up in this corner. And then over here you need some. And if you wanted, you could do the whole background in this mixed media painting stuff. But I just know it's gonna get covered up, so I'm just doing the portions that I know are going to show. A little down here. Okay, and again, I don't want to do the splatters until this is a little dry, but I can do the coffee cup stains with gotta get some down here. Oops, kind of loud. That's pretty good. We are gonna do some on this piece, but I'm gonna wait until this is dry before I adhere this and do those last couple. I think it's dry enough for me to do the splatters right now though, so we'll do those again. And I think we've got a good amount of splatters going here. Okay, and then I'll put this off to the side. I don't like to close this until it's completely dried for a couple of days on my desk because it gets weird if you close that with water in it. I don't like it. And I do live in the desert, so it's still, even here in the dry air, I'll leave this open like this for 2 or 3 days to get it completely dried out before I put the lid back on. So that's just one tip for that. I think I could adhere this down and work a little on it. So we'll adhere this down finally. And then I know I want a coffee stain in this area. I might need to spray a little more here. This dries pretty quick on this little plate. So it's getting there, it's getting there. There we go. Just a little bit more. Okay, and I am going to splatter some on this side too. Okay, now I can let that dry for a few days. So I'm going to let this dry along with my other page that I started, and I'm gonna go wash these things up and I will be right back. Okay, I am back, and we're going to finish up on the left-hand side of this layout first. So the pieces that we're gonna need for the left-hand side, we've already kind of put together. And, oh, this isn't totally dry, so I'm gonna be real careful. But we're gonna place this right here, and we're gonna go ahead and adhere it down because I know exactly, it needs to go exactly in the open spot. Right about here. So you can see a little bit of all 3 areas of mixed media that we made. Okay, and now we're going to turn to these little cut-aparts. And you can use any cut-aparts that you want. In particular, I used this coffee shop on this one, and that's the only one that I used on this one. So I'm going to fussy cut the little coffee shop out. Okay, the coffee shop is cut out. And next we're gonna grab our sticker sheet. And I'm gonna use a variety of stickers on this. I'm going to use the sticker that says Coffee and Friends up here. And the coffee cup, the latte cup, down here. And this frozen Frappuccino cup up here. Today's plan, drink coffee and be awesome. Gonna slide that right underneath. I'm gonna slide it a little tiny bit underneath this one. I like to overlap the stickers a lot. Okay, this word coffee, a perfect blend is gonna slide right in here. So we can still see some of our mixed media. Oh, a perfect blend is a separate sticker all to itself. That will go right there. And then you can put your title here, and I called, on my original layout, we were on staycation, so I called it Staycation, but I'm gonna call this one Delicious. D. And I'm gonna start the title over this little cup. I think it looks cute to overlap it. So I'm gonna put the title Delicious. Okay, so we've got this, the title down, the pictures down, all the stickers and things down that go there. I am going to go ahead and pop this up on dimensional adhesive to adhere it, because I always like a little bit of dimension on my layouts. And then I added journaling to my layout on this top corner up here. So you can add journaling up there, up here, or you could add a little journaling down here. There's even space for journaling strips to go over here. And then lastly, I got these little tiny hearts, and I sprinkled a few. It's kind of how I tell where I'm gonna adhere them. I sprinkled a couple. It's harder to see the white ones on the white, but I did want to use some white still, so I didn't really mind. And then I just adhered them where they fell. I did make them all face up and down because I didn't like them being crooked and sideways. And then over here, I just put one of each color. And then up here, I put a couple more. And again, I sprinkled them and just kind of put them where they fell, but I did turn them right side up. So I will adhere those off camera and I will be right back. I forgot to say that I used glossy accents to adhere down these little hearts. It works pretty good. So any kind of like good heavy duty clear glue will work pretty good adhering these down. And I'm gonna put this off to the side while we work on the other side of the layout. The other side of the layout we've already got started, as you can see, and we are going to grab these two pieces. This piece right here, we're going to use to mat the 4x6 photo. So you could just go ahead and mat it, and you can mat it on the coral side or on the blue side, whichever you would choose. Actually, I'm gonna use the other scrap left over from the other piece because I only matted 2 pictures on it, and this will fit just perfect. And then I don't even have to trim this down. You're going to want to cut this piece right here 3 inches tall and 7.5 inches long. So I'm going to do that real quick. This is also double-sided, so you could use the dark side too if you wanted, but I'm going to also use the light side. I'm going to go ahead and adhere these two together because I know that I want them to be together like that. Okay, and we are going to grab the rest of these cutter parts. We're going to use quite a few cutter parts here. And I'm actually going to have you go ahead and cut them apart. So we're going to make a shaker box for this side, and it's going to use 2 cutter parts as well. So first we're going to use this Life Happens, no, we're not even using any of those first 3. We're going to use, and we're not even going to use any of these next 3. Put those off to the side. This is the one that we're going to use some from. Okay, so I'm just going to cut all 4 of these strips apart. And then you're going to need this one that says coffee, the little sign. You're going to need the coffee is always a good idea. The black one right here, coffee is always a good idea. We're going to use the one that says coffee, coffee, coffee. I think that's it. So we'll use those 3 cutter parts. This one is going to adhere right up in there. And these 2 we're going to make a shaker box from. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. The first thing that you're going to need to do is gut this with just like about 1/4 of an inch of this border showing all the way around. Not too much. And it's okay, you're gonna see the top of this little sign and the bottom of this little sign in the border. Do you see that little thing? It is not a big deal. I don't think it's very noticeable at all when you get your shaker made. So we've gutted this, and you can throw away, or not throw away, but you don't need the middle part that says coffee. Let's put that off to the side. You have got a little clear piece of transparency paper in your kit. It's 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So what you're going to do is adhere that to the back of this, just like that. And I just use my regular adhesive to do that. And that's going to be the window of your shaker box. So you can see in, but nothing falls out. So you've got that just like that. Then you're going to take dimensional adhesive and put it all the way around on all the sides of this. My adhesive is thick, so I need to cut it into strips. I need to cut it in half so that you won't be able to see it on the front. Okay. And you want to butt up this right next to each other. So if you have a long strips of dimensional adhesive, those work really well because you could just put one long strip down each of the 4 sides. You don't have to do all these little tiny pieces that I'm doing. All right, so this is all got dimensional adhesive all around it, and you're gonna pour a few hearts in here. Not too many, just a handful. I would say there's probably 30 or so in there, what I just poured. And then take off the backing of all of these. And then you're gonna put the back, or this on top. is we're just getting the back. These. And then we're gonna put this, which is going to be the background eventually. But I wanna make sure all these hearts, ooh, this one's like deformed. I'm gonna throw that one away. Make sure all the hearts are pretty flat in there because you don't want them to get stuck and not be able to shake around. So I'm kind of flattening out the hearts into one layer. And then I will put this right on the back. Just like that. And when we flip it around, we have a cute little shaker that says coffee, 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 full of hearts. And you can trim off if anything is hanging over the edges anywhere. You can kind of trim it off now. I just like to trim a little bit off the edges so you can't see the white paper sticking out under the corner. Okay, now we can adhere everything to this layout. So we'll start by adhering this about right here. And then we can slide this under here. And then this one can cover up and overlap a little. And then we're gonna come to our sticker sheet because there's quite a few stickers on this side. So first, I loved this sticker, but I didn't care for the big brackets around it. I didn't need that big of a sticker. So I just fussy cut right around where it says, let's go on a coffee run to somewhere new. And I just cut around here. It's also easy to cut around stickers if you cut the whole sticker and the back of the sheet out of the sticker sheet and do this while it's got the back on, and then it won't gunk up your scissors either. You know what I mean? Like, leave the backing on. And then this one goes up there. And then this little heart I liked right around there. And the word "so sweet" can go in here. There's a couple that say "so sweet" on here. This one says "so sweet" too. This little floral sprig I popped up one dimension. And I overlapped it. Right about there. Okay, I made, let's see, the word "love" I tucked under here. And it's always a good time for it's always coffee time. I can't even read. Put that there. And happiness I wedged underneath. And then I loved this little banner. So what I did is I added this little banner. Oh my, I forgot a part. We're gonna back up just a little. We're gonna go back to this little pink piece of paper and just cut about a 1/4 inch thin piece off of the end. And we're going to adhere it right here and then trim. I'll show you what I mean. We're just going to adhere part of it. It looks like it's gonna look like it's going all the way across the layout, but really it's not. You just trim it off. And we'll do the same thing down here with another little piece. I'll cut another little piece off. Should not have put this little sticker down quite yet. Now I can't even get it off. Okay, got it. So this pink piece just kind of finishes off the seam there. Okay, wow, don't want to forget that. Okay, back to this little banner. So I love these little banner stickers. Thought they were so cute. I put them all the way across. I left little spaces between each banner piece. This is what I did. I went back in and all these little tiny latte cups, they're little tiny stickers of latte cups all throughout here. I put them overlapping where each banner meets in no rhyme or reason. Actually, I will put a bigger one there and a little one there. And that was pretty cute, I thought, to finish off this banner without actually stitching, because I'm too lazy to stitch. So I did that, and then I put a subtitle. I think this is all the stickers that I used. And then I put a subtitle across the bottom, and since my pictures and my original layout are my daughter and we like, well, I like sweet drinks. She does not. She's, at the time, she was 14, and she does not care for sweet coffee drinks, but she's sweet. So I don't know how she drinks them without sugar, but she does. So I wrote the word sweet because she's sweet. My drink is sweet. It worked. And the last thing that you're going to want to do to this layout to just finish it off, you can add journaling if you'd like, and a date. I put a date right here. I put the date on mine, and I added journaling strips down here on white paper. There's also room for journaling up here. There's a little room depending on how your picture is. You can overlap some journaling in there. And then I just put three little hearts because I already have all kinds of hearts in my shaker. So I just wanted 3 more hearts, one of each color. And I kind of put them like that and adhere those down. And that wraps up the end of this layout. Let's see, let me get these hearts adhered down. And I will put still pictures at the end of this video. And there are also photos on your instruction sheet that came with your kit. So you can refer to those with the cutting guides and everything. And there's pictures of the completed layout. There's also pictures on our website, notjustforboyskitclub.com, underneath the listing. So you could just search like Latte Love in the search bar and the listing for this kit should come up. We always leave the kit's pictures and listing up there even after the kit sells out, so you can refer back to pictures, and there's detailed close-up shots and stuff on our website too. So after you make this layout yourself, we would love if you joined our Not Just for Boys Kit Club community group and posted pictures of your completed layout so we can see what pictures you used, or maybe you did it a little different, changed up things a little to make it fit your exact style. But we would love to have you join our community page and we chat on there and show sneak peeks on there. Design team posts on there. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Thanks guys. Bye.